So I pretty much recorded an intro already, but it was absolutely terrible. And I missed a lot of things. This is gonna be on the Tempest Mark V. Okay, it's gonna go. We're gonna go into post commentary of something that happened earlier in the day. That's where I'll start. I'm just redoing a proper intro now. Um, this is the Tempest Mark V. Sits at 5.7. Up tiers aren't terrible. Um, if you end up facing off against 2.62s, this thing's great at gaining speed in a dive. Um, these are pretty much the stats when it's fully upgraded. 703 max speed, like slightly over 20-second turn time, and you're looking at a pretty good climb rate. The only problem I do have with this engine is I wish it accelerated faster or had more lift. It's got big old wings on here. It's big. She's big. Okay. And then I kind of cover. I don't want any confusion. Um, there's two times where I got killed by a G10 in recording, and I focused on one of them because when the Tempest was stock, he was outrunning me. So, I was kind of focusing on this G10. But you could face pretty much any of these BF-109s at any moment. And they are good adversaries as far as max speed, climb rate, and turn time. They're all very good. Even Taz or especially Yaks. Yaks are scary. Um, they're very good at mid to low altitude. Very good engines. You commonly see these or even Yak 3Us. As well as Bearcats. You will see Bearcats. P-51s are typical adversaries that you'd go up against. Typically in the up tier you get the Bearcats, or and maybe not even honestly. You can get Bearcats kind of if you go up or down the scale. They are deadly. Same thing with the F4Us, deadly. Pretty much, you kind of will know your ballpark of enemies that you're going to engage. But it's tough in terms of actually being able to outturn, your opponents in the Tempest because I just feel like the Tempest is a very large aircraft, and it is. It's not very light. It doesn't like turning that much. You will get outperformed most of the time. And you're probably thinking, okay, well, why go for a Tempest and not like a Seafire maybe, or something along those lines? What I found is, or even a Spitfire. Like obviously Spitfires are king in country, or queen in country, however you want to do it. But I don't know. I never, I was grinding this from stock, so I was like, okay, the Tempest, yeah, like it was good, back in 4.3 or even 3.0. The Tempest was awesome with that top end, high end speed. And here at 5.7, I struggle with it. I do struggle with it. It's kind of a learning curve, and I'm still learning how to fly it exactly. But if you're like, hey, why get the Tempest over a Spitfire or over a Seafire, whether it's the low altitude version or the high altitude twin prop version, or even a Sea Fury, honestly, there isn't really a reason why you would need the Tempest. But if you are going down the line, like for the Tempest Mark II, this will have eventually a much more powerful engine than Tempest Mark V. But we're not going to talk about Tempest Mark II right now, other than just that will or definitely should perform a lot better than the Mark V does. It's still got big ass wings. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it does. It's got a worse turn time. I think Tempest is 22 seconds stock, but there's not really any reason you'd go out of your way for the Tempests. They climb okay, they turn okay, they have good top end, but mainly your Spitfires are going to be where you're going to be winning your turn fights, and even the Seafires for that matter, they have good turn time. Not this one. I'm actually not a fan of the Seafire FR-47. I just something it does not like going fast below the ceiling where your dual props are going to actually matter. It does dive very well though. I will say it dives like a king. it could definitely hold its speed, that's for sure. But kind of, what you'd be facing. Stay away from anything Japanese. Don't even try and turn fight with those things. Just try and outrun them, honestly. Key 84, very nasty opponent if you end up in the ring with a Key 84. I don't know, Tempest to me just kind of seems like a more of a support role. You're going to kind of be going in, keeping speed high, turn fighting. You could win, sure. Most of the time I found I'm not winning the turn fights because it's just so heavy. And, it's a lot of drag when you're turning. I mean, a lot of drag. The flap limit is so low, by the way. 269 kilometers for flap extension limit. That's not good. Or if you're going to go off, that's gear. Isn't that gear? Isn't that gear speed limit? Yeah, the gear. That's 269 is slow. So, I mean, the flaps ain't really going to be your friend here, unfortunately, unless you are going that slow. But you will, it's not recommended to deploy flaps unless you're going really slow, but you will bleed speed that way too. I would just say don't use flaps, honestly. But yeah, I want to do the intro, a better intro, because the one I had is just terrible. And I'm like, welcome to my, War Thunder, blah, blah, blah. Terrible. It was awful. I was going to do or I put in a text just saying, wow, great intro, absolutely making fun of myself. But I was like, I'll just redo it. Tempest Mark V sits at 5.7. It's got 4 Mark V Hispanos. Very good. Lots of ammo to use as well. It's got a lot of strong suits in terms of its engine. Not necessary. You can sustain high speeds. If you're gonna boom and zoom it, you can go very fast in this. It's just you need to find yourself in the right situation to do that without exposing, for anybody else to be able to catch you if they're on your 6. But I mean, the guns are deadly. And yeah, I mean, it's a formidable aircraft, but I do find it more often than not. I would choose. I mean, why wouldn't you choose any Spitfire over the Tempest? I almost said Typhoon over the Tempest. They just perform better. They climb better. Yeah, they might not have the best horsepower to, for the engine, but for the way that the aircraft is set up, Spitfires are much lighter than Tempests, and the engine is fine. The engine works fine. There's not many issues you'll find with the Spitfires. The only issue I have is this Seafire right here. It's slow as dick. Tempest it doesn't climb at the best. Like I said, it's hanging around 308, around the 300 mark, and I'm not getting that much altitude here. I do take some pot shots here at the PBY, but what I wanted to show you is how easily the Tempest can be outclassed versus something like a BF-109. So at 5,000 meters of altitude, it's said this aircraft can go, I think, well over 600 kilometers an hour. I decide to try and engage and chase this BF-109. Which, he's climbing, I'm gaining. The problem is my engine here is not really pulling up with my current altitude. The engine just is not doing it. Now, I am still gaining on him, but he's going to eventually get the upper hand. His engine's going to start outperforming mine. And again, with a stock Tempest, I'm just barely able to keep up with him as we go through the clouds. And then he starts pulling away. So as he starts pulling away, I'm trying to figure out the best thing to do here. So I'm at 5,000 meters, going a little past that. We'll actually eventually climb much farther than that. I think we eventually go up into this. We go up into these clouds over here. I'm doing what I can to try and catch him, but I just can't. My engine will not allow me to keep up with him, which kind of sucks. I'm trying to. His engine is outperforming me at every turn. Speed's not very high. I mean, it is technically here, but the indicated airspeed is not. So he's going up into the clouds. I figured he's probably going to swing down try and come get me. I don't believe he ends up doing that. Actually, I think he does. Oh, he's way up there. Yeah, so he's coming down. Take some terrible shots at him. And I just... The flaps on this, too, they break at very low speeds. You know, they're kind of in... You need to be in a specific situation to use them. But I do not have the airspeed, and he has the energy and the altitude advantage and the engine power over me. At least up here at 7,200 meters. And kind of just become dumb. And I don't know what to do here. He's got every advantage to me. I'm trying to just kind of get away. Trying to break away from him. But again, with his engine and altitude advantage, I didn't really know what to do here. Eventually it will lead to my demise. But it's just tough because my engine just was not able to keep up with the G10. And eventually it will lead to my death. Which, good on him. He played well. Fortunately, you can't view the max horsepower or any of the engine specs like you could on the old wiki, because the new wiki is stupid. But it's 1,230 horsepower stock on the G10. Fully upgraded, you're going to get around 1,422 just from adding the horsepower figures here. I mean, that's about 1,422.7 horsepower max. Again, this is a relatively light aircraft considering, you know, comparing it to a Tempest Mark V. But you know, again, the Mark V is going to produce more horsepower, but it needs to produce a lot of lift with these wings. And this thing's heavy. This is a big aircraft as well. But with the upgrades that we have so far, I'm not going to end the post commentary, and we're going to see how it does with just kind of this. And then I'm going to go for the 150 octane, which adds almost 200 horsepower, just the engine alone. So with the upgrades, we're going to see how it goes. But stock, I was getting outperformed at higher altitude by the BF-109s, and I kind of want to see, as I start upgrading this plane, how it will fare versus opponents at high altitudes compared to stock. Obviously, it's going to do better, but just how much better is the question. But, you know, you have to keep in mind that this does not climb very well. Maybe it does, you know, when you get all the upgrades, but I mean, stock, I mean, you're not really putting this thing. Maybe you could put this thing in a 15 degree. But I mean, you're going to stay around the 300 mark, and you're going to be pretty slow. You know, and for this thing being able to go fast at 5,000 meters, you know, again, I wasn't really getting up to that speed like I wanted to. Oh, that's fantastic. That is great. You'll love to see that. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I probably only got 12. TU2's up. Spitfire's is not tiered. Which might be good. It might be a good thing. It might be a bad thing. We'll see. I'm definitely climbing a lot better with the upgrades. We'll see. You know, again, the stock aircraft is going to not perform very well, which is fine. But, you know, first time trying out the Tempest, it was not... the engine was not performing compared to the stack card. You know, if you look at the stack card, like, okay, yeah, 620 something, or 630 something, or even 650 kilometers an hour at 5,000 meters, you know, with 1,500 horsepower. But you gotta keep in mind, this is a large aircraft. It's gonna take a while for it to get some momentum. And I don't know, I'm just kind of sad that the BF-109 outperformed me. Again, it was stock, so with 420s on here, I haven't run into the issue of overheating them, or jamming them, yet. Now, as far as turning, the turn rate is 21.6 seconds. It's not terrible. I think you really gotta rely more on speed than anything. F-82s. This J-2D will definitely outrun me. Depends on the engine, though. So, yeah, want him? That's not what I meant to do. Yep, he's gonna turn it. He's gonna try and get his gun in a good position. Which I'm gonna try not to let him do. go, bully some 262. Oh, dear. Okay. With not having a sub 20-second turn time, I'm worried about these F8Fs here. Oh, aim. Aim was not good.
We need to put more pressure on the enemy. They're winning.
Game is freezing and lagging and doing weird things. Holy shit. This is the best game I've ever had. In this Tempest. And it's not even fully upgraded yet. Oh, that wasn't gonna happen. Oh. Dang it, he flew into the building. Oh, shit. Uh-oh. Well, that's not good. Oh, that's what I get for not having situational awareness. We're not gonna count that game. Uh-oh. So, that's tough. It's a really bad time to lose control. Fuck.
If we don't do something fast, the enemy will win.
Now that we are fully spaded, I've already lost like 8 games in a row. Yeah, honestly, flaps aren't worth deploying because it's such a low speed. It actually wasn't doing too bad at 4,600 meters. I think I was hitting around 600. I was getting caught up, though, by a Fokker Wolf. So, I was not able to outrun him, and then there was a BF-109 behind him, and then an N1K behind the BF-109. So when I eventually evaded the Fokker Wolf 190, I was able to avoid also the BF-109, and I took some pot shots at the N1K, then the BF-109 came back around, and then I was on the BF-109, took some shots, but then by the time I looked behind me, the N1K was on me, and then I blacked out, and then I died. So, pretty much I lost control, and then I was in a bad spot, and I was getting outturned, and it was bad. Yeah, pretty much don't do that. Okay, well, I was not expecting that to happen. I'm not exactly at altitude, but it's okay. It's been many games. I have not had many great ones. I've had ones where I've totally whiffed everything, and then I did nothing for the whole team. It's, just part of the game, but I'm, with the Tempest. Keep wanting to say Typhoon for some reason. With the Tempest being now fully upgraded, if you will. I just don't think I wouldn't choose it over a Spitfire. I think it does fine. I haven't necessarily won turn fights with Russians or Germans. The only thing I can think of that I mean, it performs rather well on an up tier, depending on who you're facing. Get these jets, they're gonna bleed all their speed.
We're ahead of the enemy.
Can't hit this guy. Can't hit him. I'm bad. Oh my god. Aim. Aim. Hello? Alright, whatever. Not a big deal. Here, jet. Absolutely terrible aim, but we're gonna ignore that. Jesus, I wasted a lot of ammo. I'm sure this plane's great in a capable pilot's hands. I'm personally just not a fan of it. It's my personal opinion. How did I get a... How did I get it? I got a hit, but not the kill. Wait, it's it. Wait, did I suffer damage? Maybe he shot me, but he didn't get the kill either. Well, it happens. Honestly, it's not a bad aircraft. I would just, if you're curious about it, it's not terrible. I'm not too fond of it. I would rather pick a Spitfire, something that can turn a little sharper or climb a little better. And again, not too far down the line, you have the Tempest Mark II, which the engine performs way better at lower altitude, which is good. It will climb better, so there is that to look forward to, especially if you're going down the Hunter line, you get to the Typhoon. There's a lot of opportunity here. If you were like, hey, which one's better? If you had to pick one, just personally, Tempest Mark V or Spitfire or Sea Fury or Sea Fire, the Griffins will always be top dog. And then it is what it is. My opinion is it's not a bad aircraft. I just don't necessarily like to fly it that much because it's a little rough sometimes. I mean, hell, this aircraft could be great in the hands of someone else. Not me. No, that's for sure. I did okay, That's what you do, though. You fly an aircraft, you learn it, you kind of try and do a little better, and, I still hit trees and stuff, so it is what it is. But, yeah, that's pretty much it's gonna be the video. And, yeah. Let me know what plane you want me to try out next, and I'll kind of review it, or I could talk about it, or whatever.